That's footage of a tornado shot on Canada Day near Didsbury, Alberta. That's less than 100 kilometers north of Calgary. And while this part of Alberta certainly does see its fair share of tornadoes, this one was different.
Funnel cloud observed to the northwest of Carstairs.
Now, usually, tornadoes aren't exactly easy to film. Of course, there's the danger involved, right? You'd rather be somewhere safe than out in the open filming. But they're also just generally hard to make out.
Oftentimes when you get these big tornadoes, they are what we call rain-wrapped, which means that the rain sort of obscures the visual look. In this case, it wasn't really raining at all, so it was very clear where this tornado was, where it traveled, and that's why it was photographed by so many people.
And what's interesting, that visibility may very well have saved lives.
You could see it coming from quite a distance, and with it being on the ground for that long, I think it gave people, along with the tornado warning, enough time to get to safety.
With this getting closer, guys, we're going to start putting everybody in the basement.
The nature of the damage, experts are still analyzing all of that, but a contributing factor was just how long this tornado was on the ground.
It affected the area between about 1:45 to 2:15 p.m. This particular thunderstorm was certainly quite a very strong storm. It did last for quite some time.
According to Environment and Climate Change Canada, this one was on the ground for almost twice as long as a typical tornado. In total, about 30 minutes.
Usually if it's on the ground for that long, usually it'll be a much longer tornado track, but it was sort of slow moving because if it's slow moving, then the structures are experiencing that wind for a significant period of time. 95% or so of Canadian tornadoes fall into the category of EF2 or less. So what that means is like an EF2 tornado would probably rip the roof off of your house. But most of the walls would still be standing. This tornado likely falls into the category of stronger than that, in that 5% of severe tornadoes that have a major impact on buildings and crops and trees.
Now just imagine, EF2 tornadoes top out at gusts of 177 kilometers per hour, which means this tornado saw winds stronger than that. And while no one died in this storm, there was a huge impact on people's homes.
There is a significant amount of damage over a fairly big distance, and it is going to take some teamwork to get through it all.
There was a house where all of the walls collapsed, the roof was gone. There was essentially nothing left of the house at that point. So there was one house like that. There was multiple houses that lost a significant portion of their roof. There was a mobile trailer or mobile home that was picked up and thrown for a few hundred meters and was basically a crumpled ball of metal by the time it was done. So very, very significant structural damage.
Now here's the thing, tornadoes in this area, this particular part of Alberta near Calgary, aren't all that unusual.
So June and July are typically very active months in terms of severe thunderstorms in Alberta. Typically, in the province of Alberta, we average about 15 tornadoes per year. So far this year, we've confirmed 13.
Earlier this month, Environment Canada said that one storm led to what it called an outbreak of 10 tornadoes in rural Alberta. But those tornadoes, most of them didn't stick around for very long, and they weren't that powerful. And that's the thing, tornadoes don't all look the same.
Tornadoes can have a width of 50 meters, and they can have a width of all the way up to 2.5 kilometers. They can be on the ground and travel over 100 kilometers, or they can be on the ground and be over in less than 500 meters.
If any of those tornadoes in that outbreak earlier this month had been stronger or stayed on the ground longer, we very well could have seen a similar level of destruction to the one we saw this past weekend.